Hello and welcome to another video of the Digital and Travelling Coffee Cup. Today's video, we are finally at the second part of the National Railway Museum. It's taken, how long has this time been going now? 4 years? But we finally made it to Locomotion in Shildon. So let's head inside there and let's go and see what they've got in. But first, there's something out here that I think you might want to see. Now there's a train that I had the, well, I would say pleasure, but was it a pleasure to ride on one of those things? Class 142, otherwise known as the Pacer. Carlisle that one went to. I remember getting one of those from Altrincham to Stockport. That was a experience and a half when you finish your shift, when you finish your job. But now, thankfully consigned to the pages of history. Definitely in the past, no longer in the present, and will definitely not be part of the future. But let's head inside there, shall we? This is what we've come to see, so let's go and see it. So unlike York, which is basically self-contained into one building, this place is two. One, which is this one, focuses mainly on the passenger side of it, and the new hall, which is just down there, focuses on the freight side of it. I thought, let's do the passenger side first. Especially when you get one of those. I don't think I can't fit under there. Actually, I might be able to, but I'm not going to try. Black 5, LMS, London Midland Scottish Railway. They got that because of their colour and power rating. Beautiful train. Now most of these I've never seen before, so it is actually quite nice to see them. And just somewhere a little bit different. I thought, well, I'm in the North East, may as well go and see it. Train journey from Newcastle was straightforward, and it's really easy to find. Let's just get off of the train at Darlington, swap trains, and back on to this one. I remember at York I said they used to have a train signal that you could like pull the levers and things. Well, Shildon have got a very small version of it. Let's have a look at it. So basically, there's your signal. Press start, and it gives you which ones, or what they all mean. It comes up on there, and you have to press the right one. Should have that in York. Definitely should have that in York on a much bigger scale. And one thing I will say is you can't miss this place when you're going on the train, because the train literally comes right past the front of it. So yeah, you definitely couldn't miss it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the trains and let them tell you the story rather than me. Because I think we all know what you've come to see here, the trains and not me. So let's see some more trains. So the LEV1, basically what started off the whole pacer thing. And there's a picture of one, but let's see one in real life, shall we? And that is a bus on a train body. That's the test one. And you can see the driver's cab there. And all the seats and everything else, and where you could stand up. Now, of course, there's other pacer outside, so this was its predecessor, and I can't lie, at least the pacer, the one I used to travel on, was a lot nicer to look at than this. Because yes, this was the research one, but still. British Leyland bus on a train body. Yeah, how much do I not want to travel on that? Now, here is the APT-E, the original tilting train. So the Pendolino can trace its roots all the way back to this thing. And I think it's very similar to the one that's at the Crewe Heritage Works. Not the same one, obviously, but very nice train nonetheless. Even though the programme actually failed, ultimately, all tilting trains that are on the British network today can trace their roots back to this. And these came around in 1972. Withdrawn 1976. So here is the APT-E. And here's the workshop. Now this workshop once had a very, very famous guest. 4489, Dominion of Canada, which came here to get a full cosmetic overhaul in 2013 to celebrate 75 years of Mallard's record-breaking run. Nothing quite as special in there at the moment. But I just found this train just amazing. I mean, you can see little hints of what the Pendolino ultimately became in these. Obviously it tilts, goes on corners really quick. And there's a first class dining car in LNER colours. Of course it is. LNER thunder up and down this part of the world all day, so quite rightly they keep a carriage in LNER colours. One thing I will say about this particular museum, it feels a lot more personal than the one in York, probably because it's smaller, if I'm honest. You know, you don't feel it's like rushed round and stuff, you can generally just take your time. That's what I'm doing. I've given myself a couple of hours here and I thought, you know what, we'll take full advantage of all of them. Which is really nice to do, actually. You know, as much as seeing the train, like these ones, and those are very special to see. Just being able to walk around and see everything is really nice. I can't lie, I'm actually really enjoying myself. So this train has a very interesting past. So if I say the word maglev to you, you're probably going to think China, right? Well, it first didn't start in China. It started right here in Britain, more specifically Birmingham Airport. Yep, that airport we visited once. These were put into service at Birmingham International Airport, but removed in 1995. So they were there for a total of 11 years. and ultimately removed, never to be seen again around Britain. And then the Chinese came along and went, look what we can do! And as we know, their maglev trains are brilliantly quick. And we are definitely going to be taking a trip, hopefully, one day over to Beijing to ride the thing. But yes, the maglev train started right here in Britain. Now, there's one train that used to be, I think, as well, back in the sands of time, that used to be at the National Railway Museum in York. And I loved to see it every time I went. It wasn't steam engine, which makes it a rarity. It was diesel powered. Now what made this one particularly nice was the fact it was big, blue, and with white decals. And I've always wondered, where did it go? Well, I found it. The Deltic class diesel. Imagine seeing that thunder down the British railway network now. You definitely get pictures of it, 110%. 1955 they entered service. Out of service in 1961. Wow. They didn't last long, did they? 3,300 horsepower. So, one thing we do know about these things is they could shift. Imagine seeing one of those, like, thunder through, I don't know, where we've seen goods trains. Carlisle, Manchester Piccadilly, Stockport. They don't make them like they used to, do they? I mean, the new diesel trains are nice to pull the freight of Britain, but I think there's something quite special about the Deltics and these things. The D200. British Rail Green, quite rightly. English Electric Type 4, D200. Withdrawn in 1988. So it lasted longer on the railways than the Deltics did. But the Deltics nonetheless, and the D200s. Very nice trains nonetheless. Now D200, first 2,000 horsepower diesel between London and Norwich. Wow. Not as much power as that beast, but still a very good train. I remember that special intercity service that we took that one time from, where was it, Crewe to London, and the beautiful intercity decalling on the side of the train. Well, the intercity decalling is also on this class 43. The problem is you can't get down the side of it because that's in the way. But you can still see the intercity decals along the side, proudly showing where it was looked after. Leeds Neville Hill. We'll go past that in a couple of days' time. I wonder if we'll see anything in the sidings. But yeah, the class 43, nicknamed the Journey Shrinker. Entered service in 1978. Withdrawn from service in 2021. So we missed seeing them on the British Rail Network on this channel, which is a shame, but to see a class 43 in the flesh is always nice to see. One thing I will say, this place and the one in York makes me really want to rebuild my railway again. Unfortunately it is in pieces, in boxes, in my parents' attic, and I've got no space to rebuild it. The only problem is over there, in that very case over there, I can get a model of the Mallard. And as much as I would love to buy one, I'm not going to because I've got nowhere to put it. But how about we go out of this hall and into the other one and see what we can see in the freight section of locomotion. But one thing is this. At the minute, or today, there are no rides. Which is why that's all blocked off, that's all blocked off. And why does that look like it's come out of, I don't know, somewhere in Manchester? Now, from what I remember, I saw that at the Great Gathering. And all of those coaches were all together, past, present, future. Together. And I'm pretty sure it was either the Intercity at each end or Class 43, I can't quite remember. But I think because it's that big, they couldn't really put it all on one platform, which is a shame. What I think I might do is go down to North Road. Because when I was coming up here to Shildon, I went past North Road and I was just like, what's at North Road? There's loads of school kids getting off. Doesn't sound that fun. And then I looked out the window. And you know when you see a train and you think, I would love to go up close with that train again. Yeah. The train in question? Tornado. Not in steam, which was a shame. Sir Nigel Gresley's been there. Of course, we saw that at the Great Gathering as well. And the Flying Scotsman's been there. Where did we see that last? Oh yeah, the Great Gathering. But it's Railway 200. Celebrating 200 years of the British Railway, and, you know, if you're going to get the big trains out, you get the big trains out for the big events. And this part of the railway here are really celebrating it. As you can see, there's like bunting on every single platform. That's what you want to see. That's what you want to celebrate. You celebrate what your part of the world's good at, and this part of the world was good at building trains. So let's go on the other side of these and go to the new hall, shall we? Now, before we get over to the goods freight side, I've seen S&DR 200. And I was wondering, what is that about? Is it about Shildon and Darlington? No. It's about Stockton and Darlington. In the first ever journey done on this particular stretch of line 200 years ago. And they refurbished a train, like the original type train, and it did a part of the route to celebrate it. So yes, now I see why there's bunting everywhere. I don't know where that particular train is now, but yeah, wish I'd seen that go over the railway viaduct, but we weren't here at the time, so that's a shame. But let's go to the freight shed hall. It looks to be the day of railway movements, because there is a Class 93 on the rollout of locomotion, going on the back of a heavy haulage truck. I'm not even going to try and butcher that name because I don't think it deserves it, but let's see the Class 93 leave, shall we? Not under its own power, obviously, but still be nice to see leave. So this new hall, as the name suggests, is the newest part of locomotion here at Shildon. Here's the year it was opened, and it's for all the freight trains. Classic case in point, Class 93. So let's go have a look and see what's inside here today, shall we? Because some of the doors are open, so we might see some more Class 93s. Who knows? Let's go and have a look. (1,370 feet) Stanmore Summit. If you want to know where the highest point of the British Railway network is, put it in the comments. One thing Shildon, York do, I think, is just show just how great this country once was at building things. You know, and you just think, now, I don't think, I mean, the last old school train we built was Tornado. I know my eyes like suddenly went large, and here's the reason why. Snowplow. When you seen that coming towards you, you'd freak out, wouldn't you? So as I was saying, the last train we built was Tornado. And yes, we're bringing new trains onto the network now and all this, that, the other, and you know, the Transport for Wales ones are built in Britain, in Wales, but Siemens ain't English. Who built the trains, Hitachi, who built the Azumas, they're not English. Or British, I would say, so... Yeah, one thing space definitely does is show that Britain was once, as our name suggests, Great Britain. We were once great at building things, now, not so much. Now this wagon was built to carry tanks. Obviously, between the First and Second World War, tanks got heavier. But they still built these to be able to take the weight of tanks during the Second World War. Now, there is a couple of Sherman tanks on Warwell wagons in 1943. I mean, that's not a Sherman tank, but still, it shows what it was built for. And imagine seeing a Sherman on here. That would be an impressive sight to see. And I think, looking at that insignia, this tank's Canadian. Now, this northeastern cattle van, of course, with a cow in, of course. Now, this particular train here, I had to take a bit of a double take, because I'm not going to be funny here. This aerolite from 1869, right? Take this train, paint it blue, put a face on it. What do we think? Thomas the Tank Engine? The amount of times I've been through that train station, that is now a metro station. Percy Main. North Eastern Railway, snowplow, number 12. Wow. Now there's a front end you're not gonna mess with. The Class 93 is now on the back of a low loader. So the time it's taken us to walk around part of this museum, it's actually now managed to get on top of the low loader, which is very nice. There's a Class 31. That's how big it is, it doesn't quite fit on the screen. In 1976 they were withdrawn from service. Look at the size of these wagons. Well, you know what this particular tanker carried. Now we saw that war wagon with the tank on the back, right? Well, during the First World War, as we know, the Great War, a lot of British men went to fight, and quite a lot went from this particular area. Now what I'm going to show you now is the plaque, which gives you the names of the people who served here and sadly died. And that is just names of people who worked here, which to me is just like on another planet. Like, they're just people who worked here, and they're very long pieces of metal with the names on. And at the end of it all, what was it all for, really? Nothing much, really, was it? So that's the Class 93, ready for its delivery to wherever it's been delivered to. You see that bronze statue there? Probably the maker of one of the most famous steam locomotives in the world. Mr. Stephenson himself. I wonder what he'd think all these years later of all these different trains and how fast they're going and all that. But Robert Stephenson, there he is. Can you imagine when they built Stephenson's rocket, they'd have thought, you know, in the span of 200 years they're going to be able to pull trains that are this long? That is just... I mean, where will we be in another 200 years? I'm absolutely certain I won't be here. I mean, will YouTube exist in 200 years? I have no idea if it does. My video will still be here. My videos will outlast me. And who knows, I might get more subscribers. But yeah, what a journey we've been on for 200 years. From Stephenson's rocket to the Pacer, which is just over... keep walking by, you'll see it eventually. There. Previous to that, Flying Scotsman, Mallard, and now the Azuma, the Nova. I mean, it's just the amount of progress we've made in 200 years. And now we've got trains that run on magnets, which is just mental. Give it another 200 years. I can't even imagine what they'll be running on by then. But, as we've now seen both, it's now time to end the video back where we started, in front of this building. I do hope you enjoyed it as much as I have, because I've thoroughly enjoyed walking around it, seeing all the different trains. If you did, don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, hit notification bells to miss the video, and I will see you in the next one.